I packed for winter and like snow and like teens and 50s during the day, and it's 83. This is not how I wanted my trip to go. If I wanted 83 and sunny, I would have stayed in New Mexico. So I don't even know what's going on. It's day 4, I think. I don't even remember the last time I vlogged. I've been stressing out over this video and work and stuff, like what I'm gonna do and all that, pissing myself off. But I'm not mad about being here, and quite happy because I'm here with good friends. I'm having a great time. But I'm stressing on how to show you guys the great time. Camera lady's not here, so that means I have to do actual work. So we're taking a break from wildlife, which is mostly why I'm here. We've got landscape going on, but the only thing that I brought with me is this 1-400. Oh wow, look at this. So we just found some crazy dirt road and went down it, and we have this abandoned dude ranch, and there's the Tetons behind it. That is a heck of a scene. And look, a cloud. All I brought's the 1-400, so maybe I'll do a pano. I think I'll get back there a little bit more and do a pano as I walk in front of Darren's shop. I'm more important, right? Damn entitled YouTubers. Oh yeah, I like this. We got a little bit of color. So, pro tip, when there's only a little bit of color like that, you still see the greens and stuff. You can just change those greens to yellows and oranges, and if you don't know how to do that, you can just buy my preset pack or my fall colors presets. I already did it for you, but it's really easy. That's not a good business strategy, but that's all I got. I'm not a good business person. I'm just here to help you guys out. All right, let's see what we can do at, oh wow, that's 100 millimeters, almost fits it all in. So 100 was almost really good. F8. I don't even care what my settings are because it's so bright. So I'm gonna focus on the trees in the barn, and I'm just gonna do this pano just like that. There it is. Sorry about the audio for this section because my mic died and I didn't realize it because I guess I left it on for 4 days. So the next section will be better, I promise. I'm just glad that the Osmo has audio on it. Alright, well, let's go explore here for a little bit and then see what kind of stuff, mischief we can get into. We're scouting this too. This is like a good scouting location for, I mean, this will be good for both sunrise and sunset. Because sunset, we're going to have the Tetons backlit completely. You're going to have rays coming through and stuff like that. And for sunrise, you'll have Tetons lit up, front lit and all nice. So, hey, look, a river. Look at that. I got a moose down here the other day. Alright, one last pro tip for this shot that I just took, this pano. A polarizer would have done wonders. It would have done magic for this. But here's a pro tip. So polarizers are great for mountains and blue skies and leaves and all that stuff, especially bright during the day. They're better for longer lenses. I have lots of videos on polarizers. You can probably check them out if you were so inclined. But a quick pro tip. Polarizer, this aspect of a polarizer can be mimicked. So you can do this, you know, the darkening and the saturating and all that stuff. And we can darken the blues with the luminance values in Photoshop or Lightroom or whatever you use. You just luminance slider, and we can saturate the colors. That aspect, those two aspects of a polarizer can be mimicked. So that's why I'm not like super hurting right now. The part that can't be mimicked is like if I wanted to shoot this river, you know, like a wide angle, or obviously not here, but if I wanted to shoot the water and not get that reflecty bit on the water, that's when you need a polarizer, and it'll cut through that glare. But I left mine in the car with everything else. What else? I'm not shooting water right now. I'm just shooting that epic mountain. All right. I think that's enough for now. We'll go back to some more wildlife B-roll that I've managed to shoot in the past 4 days. Got some elk this morning. We went out looking for a bear. Didn't find the bear, but we found some elk, some fall colors. I was very excited about that. Got some moose in the fall colors. Not the shot of a moose that I was hoping for, not super great, but I tried to be artistic and put the leaves, you know, like in front of the camera to like blur them out. So you have that's what's making all this yellow right here with the moose leaves and stuff. The focus wasn't easy, so this might not even be in focus, but you know what, I don't even care. But mostly I got some shots. Oh, I got this shot of the deer. Oh man, the deer crossing the water, and I was trying to do both for you guys. I was trying to shoot video and stills, so that was a little stressful. That's why I was like, the video stopped, and then I just felt like I had to get that reflection shot of the deer. And it's not, again, it's not perfect. The sun was going down, it was getting dark, it was really high ISO, you know, all of that kind of stuff. My shutter speed was really low because I was trying to keep the ISO down, but even with a super low shutter speed, my ISO was still super high. So this is one of those moments though where, like, if you care about the settings, you probably won't get the shot. And I'd rather take the shot and have it slightly imperfect, high ISO, a little bit of motion blur, whatever. If it's a good emotive shot, I'm going to be very happy with that. Okay, I've said I'm going to wrap it up like 3 times now, but I'm going to wrap it up right here and get out of this heat. I think it's tea time. Alright, so I just want to take a minute here to edit a couple of the images and show you what I was talking about earlier with the color tweaking and the mimicking of the CPL effects and stuff like that. So let's jump into the computer real quick. Alright, so let's take a look at this panel real quick. We'll do a quick edit. So it was 7 shots, I believe. Alright, so we're just going to grab these 7 shots here, select them, merge to pano. Okay, I typically leave it on spherical, and it usually does a pretty good job. I'm just going to go ahead and auto crop. And then I keep this turned off, the auto settings, because I don't want it to edit. I want to do the editing myself. Alright, so once that's merged, let's go ahead and start. We'll start with the color correction and stuff because I mentioned my presets. So this isn't a plug for my presets, although if you do want to buy them, they are there, of course. But I'll show you how to do it with and without. So I already have a fall preset made, so I'm just going to come pick one of my colors here. Okay, so I picked this, and right out the bat, that doesn't look great with this particular image. There's a little too much magenta and the yellows are pushed a little too hard. So let's go fix that. So we're going to come down here to color mixer and we're going to go to hue. So this is how you would change it normally anyways. So to get rid of the greens, I push them over towards yellow. And then I'm going to back these yellows off because I had the yellows pushed a little more towards orange. I'm going to back those off just a little bit. And then you can come in here to the saturation and you can mess with those yourself. I'm going to fix the tint. So I'm going to pull this back down a little bit. Alright, so I think that's better. So that's just some basic color correction with, presets and all that stuff. Like I've always said too, presets are, no matter whose presets you have, even if they're your own presets, they're not a one-click solution for everything. These are my presets and I like using them, but they're just the base setting for me. Alright, so now let's talk about how we can mimic that CPL. So let's darken these blues a little bit. So the first thing you can do is you can definitely come down here to dehaze, and you can dehaze the whole thing or the sky or whatever. And that's kind of doing it. But dehaze starts to look yucky really quick, so I really don't like doing that much, especially globally. So then what you do is you come back down here to your color mixer and you go into luminance, and we're just going to bring these blues down. So this is what a CPL does naturally, and I like to just bring it too far and then pull it back into what I think looks reasonable. So that right there I think looks pretty good, and that is that's similar to what you would have gotten with a good CPL. So I think that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. It makes it pop a little bit more. And then the other thing, of course, that CPLs do is they add a little bit of saturation, especially into the greens and the blues. So you can tweak that however you want. You can boost it when you bring up the saturation. You'll notice after having dropped the luminance values in the blues, that saturation is going to act a little bit differently as well. So I don't want to push it too hard, but something like that's the raw. And then, that's a good starting point. So I'm not going to go over the rest of the editing for what else you can do to this because it's infinite. But I think that's a pretty good showcase for what I'm talking about with the color manipulations and with the CPL mimicking. I just want to show you guys this one more shot because I didn't have any other way to squeeze it into the video and I really liked it. I think this is one of my more favorite landscape shots from my time in the Tetons this round. So this was handheld. This was like a 5 or 7 shot pano at vertical with my 70-200 at 70 millimeters, just at dawn, right before sunrise. And I just wanted to show you a couple things that I did to it real quick. So first thing I did was mess with a little bit of color, like I was saying, and just give it that more dawn punch. But then that's a little saturated, so then I actually desaturated it just a pinch. And then I want to bring out the highlights in the leaves and all that stuff, but not in the skies. So I do that with a dodge and burn. And now we can see, look at the leaves on the aspens. So that just adds a little more depth, a little more texture. And then I want to just bring a little more emphasis on these mountains right here. So I just did a quick selection of the mountains in Camera Raw and then added some dehaze to them without adding dehaze to anything else. I just wanted to show you that image because I kind of liked it. And I didn't film anything about this image. I just pulled over real quick, jumped out of the car, handheld, took the shot, and that was it. Alright, so that was it for this round, or for this episode. Like I said in the last one, if you watched my other Tetons one, I did not do a great job of filming. And like I said in the beginning of this one, I was pretty frustrated with myself. But I have no one to blame other than myself for my lack of filming. So I'm trying to piece together this stuff and show you guys something that's at least interesting, or give you some sort of helpful education or something. So admittedly, this wasn't the best episode in the world, but hopefully that'll help you when you're thinking about, when you're out there in the fall colors or just in landscape in general, and you're thinking about things, or you forgot your polarizer like I do all the time. Hopefully that'll give you some ideas for how to edit and how you can get around that, how to move forward with getting something that you're happy with. So on that note, I will say that I do have some more, I have a lot more footage actually. I'm going to try to piece together one more episode, but I promise it's going to be better. It's going to be more wildlife oriented. I did have some really great encounters with some moose and some grizzly, and I think a couple more elk encounters. I got a lot of good footage. I just need to sift through it, and I need to make like a cohesive narrative out of that. But that will be coming hopefully soon. And I'm looking forward to it because I think the footage that I got, I'm pretty happy with. And the images that I got, I'm definitely very happy with when it comes to the moose and those bear. So keep an eye out for that in the coming weeks or so. I have a couple of techie things that I want to talk about too, with some laptops and some potentially nerdy things like that. So those are going to be thrown in the mix here in the next month or so as far as videos are concerned. I really want to help photographers kind of understand like what they need and what their systems can do power wise. I get a lot of questions about laptops and computers and all that, so I kind of want to start integrating that stuff. So that's coming soon. But for now, if you made it through all of that, I really appreciate it. It means the world to me that you stuck around and you're still watching my content. If you haven't already, you can definitely hit that like button for me, subscribe, throw me a comment. All of those things are just massive helps to the channel. If you're picking up what I'm putting down and you're enjoying the content even more, then you can check out the channel memberships, my presets, workshops, all the goods down below. That stuff is also a massive help. And Camera Lady and I really, really appreciate your love and support. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Well, Bear Jim, we just got all told to move. Time to go. All right. There she is. She's coming right here. There's Bear. And there's us. And there's people getting yelled at for not being in their car. But luckily we're in our car because we're good citizens. I just had a really nice elk encounter. I shot a couple of them in the face. One of the larger moose in this area is very famous. It's actually at the campground right now where I'm camping at.